Hello and welcome to another Author Talks with Frightreads. Why are names not popping up? You just stuff sometimes. Just why would stuff work? You know what? It's not important. Who cares? So anyway, bunch of vendors announced today. Super awesome. We got a lot of returning awesome people. Um, just what don't we have at this point? Got a lot of special announcements coming up for the month of April. We are going to be announcing yet another, I would say a food vendor, but more of a beverage vendor. So that's going to be coming up, and they're going to have super exclusive collectible Fright Reads merch sold at their space. So you definitely want to check those guys out when they get announced. Um, there's two special guests still on the docket. So two ladies of horror, I guess. Well, horror among other things. One of which is an author, so that's kind of cool. Always love when it's a double dip, like when we had Beatrice last year. She had the Kruger Curse. Be sure to track her down at an event. You can only get that through her. It's not on Amazon or Barnes and Noble. You'll never find it anywhere. I have a copy. It's a lot of fun. It's just a silly good time getting into some backstory of, what was Mama Kruger like in the off-camera scenes. I'm trying to think of what else we had that's really neat coming up. Well, we're about a month and a few days shy of halfway to Halloween. Halfway to Halloween is going to be at Marley Station Mall in Glen Burnie, Maryland. That's going to be happening May 9th, which is the day before Mother's Day. So it's a really quick and easy gift to get mom or grandma or a sister or a cousin or an aunt. Or just bring the whole family. It's great. We have face painting. We have interactive characters. We have the Charm City Ghostbusters will be set up. Do some psychic tests. See if you can see what's on the cards. Um, in addition to that, we have the talented bullies from Scream. We have Lenora and Nancy Ann, who were the bathroom bullies who were talking trash about Nev Campbell's character, in addition to her murderous boyfriend. Spoiler, I'm sorry if you haven't seen Scream. It's like a 25, 30-year-old movie. Um, and well, in addition to that, we're going to have the always a pleasure, Chris O'Brocki. We talked to him a few weeks ago. Bring your Step Up DVDs or VHSs. Get those signed. Catch them off guard. Buy a copy of Shriek Show, but also bring in a Step Up DVD. And then we also have Michelle Santiago, who will be joining us as well. If you happen to miss her at our Big Fall show, it was a joke. She had to leave for Sunday due to a family emergency, and I told her she owed me a day, and it was just a joke, but here's her day. She's going to come and hang out with us at Halfway to Halloween, so be sure you check out them. Check out Things Forsaken is doing a great job. So much interactivity. Their film is going to be awesome. They have part 2 on the horizon, so talk to them about sneak peeks for it. And I just had to make some changes with some of the programming, but we're going to be potentially debuting a music video for one of our long-term special vendors that we've had. He's bringing in a music video for, I'm assuming, his band. Still in the works. It's always a moving situation. Speaking of moving, we have a lot of different guests that hit Fright Reads. I mean, if you've ever been to one of our events, or if this is your first time, you're going to see that there's a ton of authors. I mean, shocker, it's called Fright Reads Book Festival. If we haven't iterated that, it's a book festival at this point. Tons of authors. Sometimes those authors wear multiple hats. Sometimes it's somebody like Jenny Allen, who is making crafts and art, and she's got her vampire killing kits and stuff alongside of her amazing stories. Sometimes we have authors who are musicians, like Screaming Mad D. Others make films. So we have a really cool spread of people. So tonight's guest we have Aaron Crocker joining us. Aaron, welcome aboard.
Hello.
So you fit right in. I was looking at like what you did, and I was like, oh my god, you got a list of stuff. So you got film, books, a little bit of everything. So normally that could be a little like an odd duck at a specific. They call it a niche festival where it's this is for books, but what I think people fail to realize is it's a lot more than just books, and it's amazing how well you do actually fit into what we've cultivated at this festival. So
Well,
what is it that you let's get into movies first. We can talk about books. I see books all the time. Let's talk movies. Movies are more fun.
sure. First off, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's really cool to get to be on here and get to kind of, you know, talk a little bit about art and movies, books, and whatever. I started filmmaking, and it started with acting. And I did some acting jobs, and it was fun. Don't get me wrong. I love the art of acting, and I have a huge appreciation for what actors do. I'm not that great at that part, but even since high school and theater, I've had an affinity for back behind the stage. I would run lighting, maybe do a little construction here and there, mostly lighting. And I really enjoyed the art of making everything on stage shine, or making, the
Sure.
actors shine.
So the
And
production side, not so much the actual. You like back of house.
absolutely, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't really know what it was. I guess every time I write, I see everything as a movie in my head. And it's almost like if I can't see it as a movie in my head, I just can't write it. I have to know what it sounds like, what it feels like, what the pacing's like. And so it really started driving me to make films. I started on my phone. They were really bad. I think some of them might still be on YouTube, unfortunately.
Oh boy.
Yeah. But I ended up writing and directing and producing my first short film, which was Slash Ceiling. It was sort of this, as it says, slasher horror. And it was a lot of fun, and it did pretty well. And then I went straight into a feature, which was kind of insane. I find out now, but I did it, and I made a feature film in 20, I'm going to get this wrong, 23, I believe, Poison Tree. And it did end up getting distribution, and it's live out on Fossum, Roku. Think it's coming to Tubi soon. So there's a few places you can catch it on streaming.
Sure. That's always fun. But so your writing just kind of transcends different mediums, but at the end of the day, it's the writing part. It just, you're like, this could be a novel, or
Yes.
Then you just start throwing in, the script markers and, interior day.
Yes.
That's the difference. I actually, so I took a script writing course.
Oh, wow.
And it was funny because they were like, we want you to turn take a book. They were like, take a book, and we were given the big no-nos. If it's already a book turned movie, you can't do that. So you're going to be like cheating and using like a script and, getting the questions answered. So the professor wanted you to actually like sit down and take something that is straight up just a book and turn it into a script. However many, I think he wanted a 30 minutes worth of screen, which is, for anybody that's never done a script, that's roughly 30 pages. It's almost like a page a minute, give or take, depending on like how quick some of the scenes are, if they're quick cuts, whatever. But more or less, it's a minute a page. I was like, my sci-fi action adventure would make a hell of a movie. Why don't I jump the gun and just and all I did, I had my book open, and that's the same thing when you started writing your book and you're like, this, I visualize movie scenes. I was doing the exact same thing when I wrote it. So transcribing it to that medium was almost second nature. It just, instead of saying, character A exclaimed, I just put it in dialogue tags,
Mm-hmm.
and and then maybe directions of yelling, whimpering, whatever. Um, it's it's almost scary how similar it is. You just have to learn how to do the actual formatting, which that shouldn't even stop you, because even if you format it wrong, that's what some people get paid to do. All you
Mm-hmm.
have to do is write the rough, just dump out your thoughts and let somebody else kind of sort it out for you. Um, it's just wild, like that whole world of script writing. But I'm not a script writer, so that's good on you. I can't.
I can't, I'll admit I can't do the formatting. At this point I kind of don't try. I'm not trying to sell it, like opt
Yeah,
my script out. So if I'm understanding it, my actors can understand it,
yeah,
anybody
true.
else in production can understand it, we're gold. Obviously if I were going to sell it, I would need to, like you said, find somebody that formats it and make it a little bit better. And generally I'll have about 3 different versions of the script. I'll have like an actor script, I'll have my script, which is every little detail of everything that
Sure.
I'm wanting to do. And then I might have a separate script for, I don't know, if I'm lucky enough to have somebody do lighting, or I might have notes in there. So kind of everybody gets a script that's tuned to what they're doing. And then I have a
Yeah.
master script.
So you have a lot more than I did. Much like you have something that's on YouTube that will follow you forever. I have an entire web series on YouTube that I'm not going to give the name because you're going to have to work for it. But it was me and 2 friends dressed up as Spider-Man, Deadpool, and Venom, and we filmed these shorts and eventually an episodic series. And the episodic series, when I got involved, that's when the actual camera angles and lighting and multiple takes and overdubbing audio and things like that came into play. You can just see it from episode 2 on when I
Yeah.
got involved. One of my favorite things is they were like, oh my God, it's so scripted. I'm like, no, our script was maybe like 3 sentences, and it would be like, um, Spider-Man needs help defeating Venom. He enlists the help of Deadpool. The two have to find a way to work together
Mm-hmm.
and go. And it was all improv. It was like hell on earth. We didn't have actual, genuine bullet points. It was just do this, do this, do this, and you have to get to this end result and go. Um, so there's no wrong way to do a script, especially if it's an in-house internal thing. As
Mm-hmm.
long as all parties involved know what's going on, it's not an issue. But that's awesome though, and you're getting them on, national formats that people can, I've gone up and down Tubi and all these other things and gone, that's a terrible movie, and I'm in. Um, we watched, I think we watched Llamageddon. You ever seen that? It's terrible, and I love it.
Not. I have not, but it sounds amazing.
So treat yourself. So Llamageddon, we watched for Halloween 5 years ago. I feel like it was pre-pandemic actually. We had watched it maybe pre-pandemic or just after, and they used the same stock video of a llama looking at the camera, and they repeat this, and sometimes they'll overlay lasers coming out of its eyes. Um, and it's the same image. um, so it's already like, this is a movie that, have you ever seen Velocipaster?
Parts of it, yes.
Okay. You know how Velocipaster is just like, yep, this is what we're making. Let's just lean into it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what Llamageddon did. Um, and I think that they took the small victories where they could, and the script doesn't, I don't know what was happening. Like they were running from a llama that was shooting lasers at, I honestly, I watched it and I have no idea what was going on, but I got one key quote from it, which was the girl that repeated no less than a dozen times, they're all dead in the hot tub, because they all got electrocuted in the hot tub because the llama dropped the toaster inside. I don't know. Look, it nothing made sense, but I just remember her saying it over and over and over again, almost like it was every alternate take to get different inflections and different. She's like, they're all dead in the hot tub. They're all dead in the hot tub. And she just said it over and over again. So now it's just like, they're all dead in the hot tub. But the honestly, the icing on the cake for me, and it was something that I noticed about halfway through the movie when they started trying to run across the field away from the llama, where there were a bunch of quick cuts to the different characters. Mm-hmm. There was one of the actors, every time they cut back to him, he had a different shirt on. And in the beginning, you're like, "Oh, is this a continuity thing? It's low budget. What are you gonna do?"
Yeah.
But then after a little while, especially when they started doing the quicker cuts, and he's just like, "What are we gonna do, guys?" And they cut over to Hero X, and they cut back to him, and now he's in a Super Mario shirt. And then they cut back to the girl, and she's like, "We have to get out of here." And they cut back to this guy again, and now he's got like a Led Zeppelin shirt on. Like, he had a different shirt every time they cut back to him. And they're like, "Oh, it's so cheap." I said, no, you don't understand. That is a deliberate move. That is an expert, this is playing chess on a checkers board level move. And I always tell everybody, watch the movie and pay attention to the shirts, because there's one character who's going to change his shirts every time that they cut away from him. Anytime the camera leaves him, even in the same scene, having dialogue from different perspectives, it goes back to him. Boom, new shirt. Super Mario on. Boom, new shirt. Now he's got Donkey Kong. Now he's got a PlayStation shirt. It's just all over the place, and I loved it. That one's a good one. I mentioned Velocipaster, but there's also one. We actually have them at our event every year, and it's the Night Watchman. Ken Arnold and a handful of guys are they're local-ish, between here and Jersey, I think. And they wrote a movie about and it's one of those premises where you kind of just look at it and you're just like, "Oh God, hit play. Just let's go." Baltimore's beloved clown is doing his international tour, which ends abruptly in Transylvania when he is found drained of his blood. So they bring him back to the States to properly bury him, but they're going to have a big festival. But the delivery gets messed up and goes to this other like office building. So the Night Watchmen accept the delivery. They're like, "Whatever, we'll sort it out in the morning." And obviously he's a vampire clown, and then vampires are now the problem. And it's just like, what a stupid setup. You're just like, as on the nose, he was drained of all of his blood. And you're like, of course he was, in Transylvania specifically. So it's basically Bozo the Clown without getting sued by the Bozo estate. And I mean, just the way that the deaths happen for the vampires, I have never laughed so hard in all my life. This is just the dumbest thing ever. And like, the new guy gets hired and they don't have a uniform for him, so they put on the uniform of the guy that just quit. So now his name is something different. So they just call him the other guy's name just because they don't care what his name is, because he's so disposable.
Right.
Oh my God. Like, but it was just hilarious. And like, I know everybody's looking for like the Ready or Not 2s and the big blockbuster horror movies, but don't sleep on these silly little indie ones, because this is where they get to have fun. You guys get to have fun in your films. Not that they don't get to have fun in the big ones either, but there's a board of executives and important people that are like, "Well, I don't know." You guys are just like, "Well,
pretty much."
Is it bloody enough? I mean, prime example is like the original Evil Dead. Like, being a student film, like, you can do what you want. Then when you get into like actually being distributed for public consumption, now there's ratings and reviews, and people are like, "Do we need the buckets of blood?" Yeah, actually, that's actually in my rider. We need the buckets of blood.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
sorry. I'm
I
sorry.
was gonna say, was there any indie films that just speak to you that are out there, like something that's just deep in the pockets of Amazon Prime, Tubi, what have you?
I'm trying to think. It's been forever. I remember watching. I'm gonna mess this up. Was it Poultrygeist?
Poultrygeist.
Poultrygeist. There's one. oh, I forget the name. There's one about pants that attack people. I can't think of the name of it.
There's a couch that attacks
I was gonna
people.
say there's a couch one. I'm trying to think. Because I watch them, I can't remember all the names of them. But if I'm just, I'll
Yeah,
tune into them.
there's the ginger dead man. I mean, oh my God, what don't they do?
Well, like you said, it's fun. It's like, what can we do? And you just have, I mean, as long as you can afford to somewhat do it in a budget,
Yeah.
you figure it out. And it does make it fun. I'm trying to think though. I definitely, those are funny. I know I was at a film festival once, and I don't know the name of the production team, but there was one called Pandemonium, and it was pandas. It was people dressed
Yes.
as pandas. Did you see it?
Yes. No,
Okay,
but
that was well
I
done.
haven't seen it, but these are things that you all talk about when you get like when you start doing the one-upsmanship with like, what's the dumbest movie you've watched? That one gets thrown out all the time, and I'm just like, I have to sit down and watch this
Yes, you do.
because
It
my
was
go-to was always Lamageddon, but apparently this is in that same bracket.
it really is. And I mean, honestly, I did. I went in not expecting much. But I would say just for what it was, the production value was pretty impressive. And they did actually follow the storyline through, which sometimes you don't see.
Yeah,
So I definitely have to give it some credit. I got some good laughs and, you
yeah,
know,
that's all that matters, that you enjoyed yourself. We watched it was last year, not this past Christmas, but the one prior. We watched Ugly Sweater Party. Felissa Rose was in it, among a few others, and it's where a guy invites his buddy who's kind of just bummed out, whatever, has no body. He's like, "Bud, we're gonna go up to this great place, and it's an ugly sweater party." So he gets an ugly sweater that he finds, and it's cursed. So it's like possessed, and it starts to turn him evil. Like, what a stupid premise! I loved it. It was really dumb and bad, but I loved it. But it's no different than like the multi-million-dollar production of the Meg. Like
yeah.
I watched the Meg too, and I watched Jason Statham take off his helmet, hold his breath, and walk at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. And I was like, that checks. Yeah, that's how pressure works. He went and he was fine while he like fought sharks on that same breath.
Mm.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh my God, this is just Sharknado with millions of dollars. That's all this is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are your actual novels as silly, or do you just kind of, or is that a whole different tone?
Well, after Slash Ceiling, my movies sort of I do a lot more like psychological.
Okay.
My novels, well, I unpublished a couple of them and I'm working on revamping them, but I do have one coming out. It'll definitely be out by the Frightreads Festival.
Sure.
And it's The Harvest. It's more sci-fi leaning than horror, and it does have a real like a cheese element to it. I think
Okay.
that just on face value, you hear it and you're going, okay, yeah, that would be like a B, like a maybe not even a B movie, like a CD, whatever movie. But I actually managed to put something substantial behind it, material behind it to make it lean into what it is.
Okay.
And it works pretty well. So I would say all in all, there is some dark humor in almost everything I write. I'm really big on satire, and I will put subtle satire in almost everything. And you just kind of have to dig it out, I guess. So, I mean, you get a little bit of both, I think.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. I mean, it as long as there's a consistency across the board where it's, yeah, the novels are probably taken a little more serious, and what you do with a B or C or D movie is a different thing. But at least the tension is still there.
Yeah.
I just that's kind of what I do with mine. Like literally my review of my sci-fi action adventure is a B movie in written form. And I was like, I was mad. And then I was like, but you're right. I'm not, that wasn't my intention, but like looking back, I'm like, no, this is absolutely something that Sci-Fi Channel would back and play at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
100%, right after Sharktopus versus Crocosaurus, Scylla, Mecha, something. Insert creature here.
Pretty much.
Sharktopus has got to be one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Um, but yeah, it would be right alongside of that stuff. So it's not necessarily odd, and I think having science fiction is perfect for Fright Reads.
Mhm.
So you got roped into this whole thing because of a mutual friend who
Yes.
he's probably, well, I think he just got his internet turned on, so he could potentially chime in. But I talked to him 3 weeks ago on this. We talked to Brian Paoni, him
Yeah.
and his little DeLorean and all his books and his accolades, like almost getting a Hugo Award. Um, he's been an absolute asset in bringing a lot of cool people to Fright Reads, and that includes you. Um, you didn't make it last year due to scheduling reasons,
Mhm.
but this year, I mean, you're seeing some of the guests and some of the people popping up. Is anything drawing you in, or you just like pick the right year?
I'm just excited to be a part of it. I see all the guests, and we were talking earlier, like, just the organization that seems to be behind it, just the general how organized it is, and you got good people on board. I've known Brian since, oh gosh, 2017, 2018 at least, and met him at a book fair before I even wrote my first book.
Yeah,
And I was really drawn into his Moonlight City Drive. I love the cover. I just got to talking to
yeah,
him. Ended up, I think I bought the book that day, and we just became friends. And he was like, join my writing group, and I did. And I mean, just a cool guy, really supportive of
yeah,
what, like, when he sees somebody that's really trying, like, he's going to support you in that and be there for you in that. So I'm really
absolutely.
appreciative of him. So
And that's so I mean, and we both do kind of the same thing with that. Like, we're here to create an environment that supports each other.
yeah.
If you're actively putting in the work and trying, and you're spinning your wheels, Brian's absolutely an asset to have in your back pocket. Because while he doesn't have all of the answers, he might have an idea. And I noticed, so you've known him a little bit longer than me, but I met him at an event called Annapolis Comic Con,
Hmm.
uh, in Annapolis, Maryland, as the name would dictate. Um, and he was across from me, but he was next to an author that I co-wrote a book with, who I would probably at this point not be co-writing a book with. Um, but he was talking to him for a minute, and he looks over and says, "You absolutely got to talk to Harry," and introduces Brian to me. And then this guy checks out, clears out his table, and goes to the local cigar lounge 1 hour into the event because it was a bust. I'm like, it's still 6.5 hours left, but whatever.
Right. Right.
It's a bust. First 20 minutes is a bust. So he took his ball and went home. But happy byproduct, he introduces me to Brian, and he does his first Fright Reads that year. And like, I didn't befriend him at that time. I was like, yeah, man, I think you'd be. I mean, all of your stuff sounds like it'd be good for Fright Reads, and that was really the end of that. But it was, I think, probably in the past 2 years or so, maybe three, that we've really just connected, and like on a level where now he's my editor. He's edited 10 bajillion other books, and mine are, several in that mix. Um, he's also my old writing group was kind of a Debbie Downer group. They would all
Mm.
just be like, why does nobody want my books?
Yeah.
And yeah, you can ask that question a million times. Yeah, why does nobody want my books? They suck. I don't know. Um, it's me. I'm the problem. No, it's the children who are out of touch. Um, like you could speculate all day as to why, but um, but Brian was very different when I met him. Like in that regard of like the current mix of people, we're all just kicking the same can around, and he's like, what if we do like a logo or something? What if we try to do this? What if? And he's constantly trying stuff, and
Mhm.
I liked that energy, and we
Yeah.
bounce ideas off of each other. And I mean, there's not a moment that comes by where it's like, hey, so I got a dumb idea, hear me out. And then we run the idea by, and it ends up being a hit. Something stupid becomes a great idea. So it's always good to have those kind of people. And I'm glad you met Brian all those years ago, especially if you're going down the path of being a writer, because he's a hell of an asset to have in your back pocket.
Yeah.
Um, I've become better because of him, and I love his little sidebar notes when he edits. It's like, you'll see things like, well, according to the English rule, blah 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 blah. This is why this should be this. I'll get those intelligent notes, and he'll give me sources and reasons why, and then I get, wow, you're an idiot, and I love those notes too because it's like that checks. Wow, you're an idiot. Lose this line, and I'm like, I'll look at it and be like, yeah, you're right. That's fair. Um, but he's not somebody that's just going to sit around and wait for the world to come to him. He's going to go to the world's door and start knocking. Excuse me, may I interest you in Moonlight City Drive, or
Absolutely.
or the Ditto House? I think is his latest one, so he'll probably be pushing that. Um, but I love that. I mean, would you ever do something as I want to say as stupid as he's doing, staying in known haunted places to get a book? Is that
Oh, I absolutely would.
you would? Yeah.
I would without a doubt. Yeah. I mean, there's a book I want to write, and it takes place in Arizona out in the desert.
Okay.
And I've never been, I'm from the Midwest, but I've never been as west, like in the Arizona desert.
I
So
have.
I have this whole Route 66 road trip planned to go
Okay.
out to the desert, to be in the desert, to take notes to write this book. Yeah, I
Wonderful.
absolutely will. Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually I lived in New Mexico and Arizona for a time. Arizona sucks, and pretty much everything out there sucks. It's just I don't know what time of the year you plan to go. It doesn't matter. It's going to be hot.
Yeah.
If you go in the wintertime, it'll be really, really, really cold. Then it'll get really, really hot, and then it'll go back to being cold again. Um, but yeah, there's so many cool stories that are out there, and I always say like the Hollywood problem is that everything happens in New York. Um, it's always in New York. I mean, look, every superhero lives in New York. You'd think that would be crime free. You got the Ghostbusters there. You got Spider-Man, the X-Men. All these guys live in New York. Somehow, the Men in Black were in New York, I think. Like, there should be no problems in New York, but it's always the backdrop for every problem ever. And when do you ever hear about like Tempe, Arizona, as the backdrop for some cataclysmic thing? Vegas gets used a bit, so go a little bit further out. And Vegas has been a good jumping point, but middle of somewhere, Arizona, not really. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that'd be a pretty cool backdrop. And if you do go out to Arizona, you definitely have to hit Tombstone. Was it is it Barstow? That the town inside the mountain.
Okay.
There's
Yeah.
there's a lot of really neat stuff that you can see out there.
Yeah.
On the southern side of it. It makes it kind of worthwhile going out to the southern half of it. Otherwise, it's just a lot of desert and mountains. Absolutely a change of scenery from up here. Um,
Mhm.
I had so I lived in El Paso, Texas, which is right there on the border of New Mexico. And when my friends from here came down to the wedding, they all got down and like, dude, you got a mountain behind your house. It's so beautiful. And I looked at him and I was like, I despise that pile of dirt. It is just a giant brown mountain, and it looks great for about 5 minutes, and then you're like, and I'm over it. Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't. I liked visiting out there, and funnily enough, my next book that my next work in progress is taking place in New Mexico. So let's bring that area into the literary world.
I mean, I love it. Like a lot of my writing does tend to revolve around the Midwest and Missouri, and just like my upcoming novel that I was telling you about, The Harvest. I mean,
Yeah.
my editor's kind of going nuts because she's like, sometimes I don't know if this is the mid, because I swing that Midwestern dialect in there.
Is it
How
a,
my
is it a
grandma talked to
Midwestism
me.
or
Yeah,
yeah?
huh? Yeah,
I was like,
and
is it a
she,
Midwestism or is this an error?
exactly. And I said, mark it, and if it's
Yeah.
supposed to be there, well, I'll make that change. But yeah, I mean, and even it's three generational. So we've got Grams, and Grams is talking, just like my grandma did, tacking the what was it, tacking the end of words onto the beginning of other words. So everything runs
Uh-huh.
together in the Midwest.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so and then what I noticed is you kind of tend to lose that as the generations would go on.
yeah.
But yeah, but no, I completely agree. And ironically, I submitted a short story for the anthology for Frightreads, and it's in New York.
See, I'm deliberately like, there's a couple of us that are going to be reading them, and I'm deliberately not reading them, but I'm also trying to get hype. So I'm looking at the genre that the author has self-placed them in. They're like, this is a sci-fi, this is crime noir, and I'm like, okay. Well, I'm looking at this spread of stuff, but that's even funnier to know that it takes place in the safest place in the world, full of superheroes and the Men in Black, and uh, aside from when Snake Plissken tried to get out of there, I think it's been fine.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
pretty well covered aside from that time, but that's in the future or something. I don't know. I don't remember what year they set that movie in, um, but yeah, it's funny. Like you said, losing your Midwest accent, and
Mhm.
it's generational. Well, with me, I got into the Army, and I'm from Baltimore. Nobody has an accent here. We all talk the same stupid way. But then you take Baltimore out and go somewhere else, and people are like, "Where are you from?"
Mhm.
Um, I got into basic training, and I just remember a drill sergeant. He looked at me, and we were having to do, I think, Saturdays or Sundays or something was reserved for doing like our laundry and cleaning our bed sheets, whatever. And I said an infamous Baltimore word. I said I was going to wash my clothes. And he said, "You're going to do what with your clothes?" And I said, "Oh, drill sergeant, I'm going to wash my clothes." And he goes, "Wash?" He's like, "What are you going to do with them? Because you're not going to wash them in here." And I was like, wash. And I had to lose the R because, I mean,
Mhm.
that was just how I was. It's like, wash your clothes in the water. Um, but then, like, I worked hard to lose all those little twangs, like the same as, adding words into words where they all run into one big blob of word. I was losing all of those, but then I met my wife, and she's like, "You had an accent when I met you," and I was like, "Bullshit! No, no, I did not. I got rid of it. I worked hard to get rid of it. I, I call you a liar." Um, but then, like she said, I had a little twinge of the Baltimore accent, and then we come back up here, and me and my buddy Steve, who helps me work Frightreads, um, he's from Dundalk, and that's the most Baltimore accent you'll ever get. And he doesn't speak with that normally, but he can slip into it just from being there for so long. And the two of us will just go full, just dirty Baltimore accent sometimes, and it drives her bananas. And it's like, "Yeah, Dad, we're gonna go down there and watch the O's, and then we're gonna go down to Ocean City and have some natty bows. And how about that, hon?" And it's just like full John Bernthal from We Own This City. It's ridiculous. But it really made me think. I was like, wow, we really do have an accent. And now I'm actually actively listening to it. And the best two were John Travolta when he did Hairspray.
Mhm.
It was a little hammed up and over the top, but John Bernthal in We Own the City nailed it. He
Nice.
had the O's, like he would talk about the O's every once in a while, and he would have that like hard O, but
Mhm.
he had it at a good level where I'm like, dude, you're from here, aren't you? He's from DC, but like
Okay.
he grew up around it. I'm sure he probably had buddies that were from up here. So yeah, that accent thing is hilarious, and I do get some notes from Brian from time to time. It's like, is it meant to be this way? And I'm like, yes, yes, yes. I'm trying to articulate it that it's going to be that way. So I can't imagine being your editor going, oh, geez, another Midwestern moment. What's happening here?
Mm.
That's cool. You got stories that are out of the Midwest because, I mean, being local authors to this area, they are always going to tend to be Baltimore, DC, Virginia centric. A lot of
Yeah.
the stories are. It's kind of refreshing to see like from elsewhere. That's always fun. I mean, is there a I guess is there a story that takes place back in the Midwest that resonated with you, or
Like, oh, just in general, just a story.
yeah, like anything that like came from that area that's just like, yeah, that's my town. All right.
um,
Or a horror that you're just like, ooh, probably why I don't live there no more.
oh, there's lots of reasons, but um, no, and I do honestly, I'll joke about it, but I do actually miss the part of Missouri of it just being so rural and just all
Yeah.
that open land and farmland and and especially where I was from, the southwestern part of Missouri. So I do honestly miss like the land and the food. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Nobody makes gravy out here like they do. I'm like, this is not real gravy out here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of the same thing. My wife's from Florida, so that southern style everything,
Mhm.
slow moving and southern style. That's what she's used to. And now up here, it's everybody needs to get out of my way. I'm in a hurry,
Yeah.
and I don't know what deep fried. I don't know what our thing is, or covered in Old Bay at least at a
Yeah.
minimum.
Y'all do a
Definitely
lot of Old Bay.
Old Bay on everything. Um, yeah, she hasn't quite. I mean, it's been 15 years and she hasn't quite latched into the crab feasts thing. We're like, hey, we're gonna go over to so and so's house. They're having crabs, and she just kind of goes, okay.
Yeah.
And it's
No,
like, but there'll
I
be
get
corn and chicken. If it's a good crab feast, there's corn and chicken. So you'll be able to get into that. If it's a half-ass crab feast, well then we'll get Arby's or something after. We'll figure it out.
that. But no, I do understand that. I mean, I
Yeah.
sometimes don't know that I'm necessarily like even like 70% acclimated from the Midwest to out here. There's always things that I'm finding that's like, wow, this is still really different.
Yeah.
And I moved out here in 2012. No, earlier than that, 2007, right at
Oh
the
wow.
right, yeah, so almost 2008. So it's been a while. But as far as just I guess art and stuff from Missouri, since we were in the Southwest, Scott Joplin. I mean, he's not an author, but Scott
Yeah,
Joplin
yeah.
was, oh, Scott Joplin, he's from Joplin, Missouri, and all of that, and the Maple Leaf Rag and everything, and Laura Ingalls Wilder, Little House on the Prairie, that was a
Yeah.
big deal out there. Um, and oh, I'm trying to think. Mark Twain, of course,
Sure.
was so that was sort of from my area. Those were kind of the big,
They were the big claims to fame.
right? Yeah, yeah,
Like if you had to
and
say like, oh, so where were you from? Well, the same place as Mark Twain. Um,
pretty much. I mean,
yeah. I mean, usually the go-to is you ever seen The Wire? I live there. Um and that usually is the end of the conversation. People are like, oh, I'm like,
yeah,
is it like the show? Yes. Yes, it is the show. But yeah, usually it's that. But the other ones, the other oddball ones. So I go on I obviously we got John Waters and we got all this other great stuff that came from here. We have half of the Runaways came from here. Some members of the Go Go's. Lots of great people. What's his name? David Byrne from drawing a blank here. It's been a long day. But David Byrne is from Ellicott City, I think. Like he's from this area, and like there's all these claims to fame. But I go with the fictional side of it. Hannibal Lecter's from here.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, Hannibal Lecter's from here, and there was obviously Edgar Allan Poe.
Mhm.
So lots of historical and fictional names. Um, that's always cool. Like that's always a good bragging right. Um, yeah, you mentioned the gravy. I know my wife's biggest thing because I found her in New Mexico. That's where she was living at the time, and she misses the food. Uh,
Mhm.
she's going back again, I think, sometime this summer because she's just like, I have a map of where I plan to eat. This
Yes.
is my itinerary. I'm not visiting anything or anyone other than food. I need real tacos. I need real flautas. I need real salsa. This needs to happen.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I
it's
feel the
just
same.
wild.
Yeah, anytime we go back to Missouri, I have it mapped out. I'm like, we're gonna, the fried food, the barbecue, the like just
Mhm.
everything there. I'm gonna go get real gravy. And I can cook like that. So I can make it, at home.
It's not the
But just
same.
to no, just to be able to go out and have grease on everything.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a place, I don't even know if it's still out there. It was in Nevada, Missouri. It was called the White Grill, and if you didn't come out of there in cardiac arrest, I guess you just didn't eat anything. I mean, that place would just darn near kill you, but it was delicious.
that's what I'm looking for. If I can't like feel my heart in my ears, then I'm not eating right.
Right. Right. And I'm like, oh man. So, and even in some of my books, I know one of my first ones, I was really big on the food. Once I got my characters to Missouri, it was all about
They had to eat.
food. We were going.
You're
My
just like
meals were,
everyone that needs to know. Everyone's got to know.
yes, my meals were oddly specific.
I did so there's a crepe shop near me that's been super supportive. They let me do book signings there when I have a new book. They let us host our book club there for Frightreads. I actually wrote them into a book, and well, I write them like I mentioned them in a little short story, but didn't really get into details. I just mentioned like how he remembers my order, but this new place that I'm at, they've just botched it left and right. Um, but the last book that I came out with, I heavily mentioned because I it was very meta for me to write this book, and it was me sitting in the crepe shop writing, and I detailed everything down to the staff, some menu items, um, and they have a crepe named after me. And
Nice.
the reason for it is jokingly, I'm a famous author, so it's named after me. But also in the book, it was because I was a successful author in the area, and they named a crepe after me. So similar, but same but different. The real life amount of gravitas wasn't there, um, but in the book, I got to play with it. That I was very successful. But I agree with you. Like you need to tell people about places that you absolutely love to eat and or things that you like to eat because I've read some stuff in books and I'm like, that actually sounds pretty good. And I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So heart stopping food. That's your jam.
Pretty much, yeah.
So well, deli-ish probably isn't going to be as heart stopping, but they're going to be a deli. So, I mean, sandwiches and Reubens and what have you, mildly heart stopping to some extent, but um, Catalyst hot dogs is where it's at. I don't know if you ran into them in the wild at some event, ball games, wherever they end up. They're all over the place. They park that truck just about anywhere. Um, that's a hot dog that will change your life.
I'll look for them.
Oh, they'll be right out front. Well, it's funny because like they got recommended to me, and I was like, I don't know, dude, it's a hot dog. Like how good could it be? And he's like, dude, no, you don't understand, man. This guy's got like authentic, like New York, Jersey hot dogs, that kind of thing. And I was like, all right, man, I guess I'll give the guy a call. I was like, how authentic can he be? And he's like, dude, he's super authentic. And I was like, all right. So call up the number and the guy picks up and he goes, how you doing? This is Chris from Catalyst. And I was
Oh,
like, oh, dude, you're hired. You
yeah.
just fell out of my cousin Vinny and into my parking lot. You're in. There's your. I just heard your credentials.
Right.
Yeah, how you doing? This is Catalyst.
Nice.
Yeah, and they've been doing our event for like I think this is their third year. Um, been fantastic. They always have a crazy line. It's literally in author Jeff Strand's writer that we have to have them or else he won't show up. Um, he needs to have his hot dog injection.
That's funny.
Um, yeah, I mean but it's just such a disgustingly good hot dog, and you're just like, man, it's a hot dog though. But you bite into it, and it's got like crunch on the outside, and that's a New York, Upper New Jersey thing. Like you don't get those hot dogs here. You get
Yeah.
I don't know, a ballpark hot dog on the grill, and you're like, all right, that's it. That's all we got. A little Oscar Mayer action. Yeah, but it's going to be a blast. I think for your first year, we'll make sure everybody mobs your table and buys everything. I'll have a sign up at
Nice.
the door that says you have to go to this booth number, buy everything.
That'd be
Uh,
nice.
God, I wish I could do that for like everybody. We'll just have like a rotating sign.
That was,
But yeah, I think actually the bullseye being put on you will be the anthology.
hmm
What I plan to do to the authors that get into the book. Um, it'll be on the map where to find everybody that's in the anthology. A little, I don't know, a picture of the cover. I don't know. We haven't got that far yet. That's future me's problem. But some way of indicating that this is an author that is in the anthology. So they can run around and maybe buy from an author or uh, run over and get an autograph, which hopefully has the byproduct of selling other books at the table. Who knows? But
yeah.
it's usually my end goal. But you're in for a treat because we got live music. I don't know if you've been blessed with the music of Hip Hop McDougal, but that's the silliest thing you'll sit through. And I actually abused my power and had them play my birthday this past weekend. I was like, you guys want to come play? Like, yeah, where at? And I was like, my backyard. Who? Just me. It'd be me in a folding chair sitting like 2 feet from you guys, just looking, never blinking. Uh, but yeah, I had a couple friends over and Hip Hop McDougal played, and my neighbors came over because they were like, this is stupid. What's going on? And they're singing songs about Princess Leia, zombies, the Chupacabra. I mean, there's just all kinds of stupid stuff going on. And there's such a riot. Well, they're going to be playing on Saturday. So that's definitely something to keep an eye out for. And then if you like surfer rock, kind of like Rock Lobster B-52s
Yeah.
type,
Yeah.
that but centered around cryptids and monsters. So
That's
Beach Creeper plays on Sunday, and that should be absolutely fantastic. Like the whole thing, there's just so much going on. I barely get to enjoy maybe a third of my own event because I'm constantly just running around. But
right.
there's just so much to see and do. I don't know what they have in store, but Harrah's Nightmare has built little mini haunted houses for their big haunt that's up in Westminster. They bring a little sample so you can
Nice.
kind of get an idea of what they can do if they had a permanent home. This is just the portable one. Ghostbusters have an entire interactive exhibit where they got the car. You could do psychic tests, catch a ghost, put it into the containment unit. And I love watching them do the steps with the kids. They're like putting the trap into the containment unit, and they're like going through the steps like they were Egon in the Ghostbusters. Like, all right, first thing you do, you open the door, you slide the trap in, you close the lid, you pull this switch, you push this, and if the light is green, trap is clean. And they just have the kids go through those motions, and it's just so much fun. So there's just so much going on. I think you'll have a blast.
It sounds awesome. So
Yeah, yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's always an anxiety inducing adventure, and then it happens, and it's like, well, now it's over. Now what? I guess we'll do next year. I usually tell everybody, they're like, when's the dates for the next one? I'm like, I don't know. Talk to me all Wednesday, because right now I'm dead. Monday, I think I'm still legally dead. Probably Tuesday, I might be finding my face, but I'm not quite there yet. And then I'll be back in work mode on Wednesday, thinking of the next one. But yeah, it's always been a blast, and the fact that we went from a basement in a community center,
yeah.
to a fairgrounds. And I always tell anybody that's never experienced the joys of year one, where the lady at the front desk told me, because we were down, like I said, we're downstairs, we're in a basement, and she told me that we had to collect the Wi-Fi and hold it and carry it downstairs. What you can't see behind me, opposite of the camera, is all my networking and internet security and cybersecurity degrees. I am a computer nerd. I definitely went, well, it's worth trying anything once. I know this isn't how radio waves work, but you know what? I'm desperate and I want to try it. So we came from those humble upbringings,
Yeah.
with I think 15 tables worth of people, and now we're pushing. What am I at now? 300. Like various vendors scrambled throughout the building.
That's
We
awesome.
have 2 buildings now. I'm just trying to think of like all this crazy. It'll take you 2 days to actually explore this whole thing. Uh, the hope is that your table is so mobbed that you can't explore anything, and you go, well, I wish I could have seen what was going on at the event. What a shame. Um, Hopefully, you get some free time to actually run around, mingle, make some new friends in the community, because there's people from all over, dude. We got people from Texas.
Oh, wow.
Um, we might have some people from the UK. He's just checking his schedule. Potentially having people from Australia, which I've been joking to say the farthest away award will go to Texas at the moment. Um, we had California also, so California was winning, and I was like, I think the UK beats California.
Yeah.
And I don't know about distance, but I think it's the added bonus of having to go through customs and all that other mess. I think
Yeah.
they get a couple extra points in their bucket. But I'm sorry, if Australia throws into the ring, that's number one forever.
Yeah. That's pretty big.
Yeah, so it's getting there. It's not where I want the event to be yet, but man, we're getting close. It's getting there. So I think we're gonna have a blast. I know I've been popping up links to everything. I was looking to see if we missed any questions, concerns, comments. Ryan popped in earlier and said, "What's up?" because it's 1994 and it's a Bud Light commercial, or a scary movie, depending on what reference. And how you doing? I think we're both doing just peachy, Ryan. And then Ryan waved Ryan number 2.
Lots of Ryans.
So, I think we have 16 Ryans watching tonight.
Oh.
No, I don't know.
Oh, I was like,
We have 16 people named Ryan watching tonight, and they all said hello. That would be wild if like everybody that's named Ryan just logged in and they were all, that's all that we had was viewers named Ryan. That would be fantastic. Never
that,
had that though.
yeah, that would be
But yeah, 2 Ryans back to back. As everybody's been seeing on the scrolling bar down the bottom, all kinds of cool people. Sharon Smythe from Dark Shadows and author Heather Graham. And my favorite is Trish Forstner coming through. I don't know if you got to check out the graphic novel of Feral or Stray Dogs. If you're a fan of the American Tail, Five Goes West, and the other Don Bluth era drawing, it's that. So animals that are in the Bluth era cartoon style mixed with The Walking Dead.
Oh, nice.
I don't know how best to describe the series, but I have like half the copies of Feral behind me. It is an absolutely wild series, and everybody's expendable. Don't get attached to any of the pets because they're gonna go, and I love that. Oh, Ryan said he cloned himself. It would have been great if this was his other account, and he was like, "I cloned myself. I'm a different Ryan now." But yeah, so we got a lot of good people. I always like when there's more Q&A, but I like when the outside is like, I have a question for you, but maybe that'll be next year after you do Frightreads and everybody gets your books and learns more about you. So I do have, just trying to fight with my mouse here. So if they want to get your stuff, your website down here is the best place to find out all about you, where to get your latest and greatest works, and eventually the remastered edition of a book
Yeah.
that will be ready for Frightreads. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Well, Frightreads is getting an all new book. I won't have
Frightreads
my old book
all new.
mastered by then, but I'll bring. I
Okay.
also run Campfire Publishing, so I'll be bringing our anthologies there, and
okay, so we'll get some good stuff there. But hopefully they grab a bunch of copies of your stuff and then get to know you, and then we do this again next year, and then people are like, hey, I got the book, I got to talk, I got questions. And now we can ask all the questions, and everybody can say, what was your inspiration for this story? And then we can go down all these rabbit holes and tangents and have an absolute blast where the two of us aren't just winging it for the entire time. And just like, question? No, just somebody waving. But if anybody is looking to come to either Halfway to Halloween or the event that Aaron will be at, which is Frightreads Book Festival 6, that's at the Howard County Fairgrounds, all tickets, details on the special guests, authors, vendors, our programming, just about everything is on frightreads.com below me. It's going to be an absolute blast. You should come. If you need to get a quick spooky fix, come to Halfway to Halloween. The tickets are also on sale there. Tons of authors, tons of great stuff. Aaron, thank you so much for stopping in and talking horror movies, terrible accents, and everything else, and clogged arteries. I think that sums up today.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and thank everybody for chiming in. All 71 Ryans that are watching. Thank you so much for chiming in tonight and letting us know that all of you exist. The next step is for you all to find a public meeting place and fight for superiority of the one true Ryan. Until next time, I will see you all next Wednesday when I talk to the next person that I don't know who I'm talking to because I didn't look at the calendar. But we'll find out when I post the link. I'll see you